All of your data in Trustworthy is organized into categories. If you look down your left-hand nav, things like family IDs, finance, property, these are all categories. And inside each category are what we call tiles. And tiles contain the bulk of the data that's stored in Trustworthy. If I look inside this tile that represents Mill Valley Home, this is a property that I have, you can see all sorts of data related to this home, including files and service providers and whatnot. Now keep in mind I'm in a pretty mature account. If I flip to account that's new, you'll see this concept of pre-populated tiles. Pre-populated tiles are created via the personalization step that you went through during your account creation. If you remember that moment where it asks you for the names of people in your household and their ages, we use that data to generate these pre-populated tiles based on households of a similar makeup. It prevents you from having to start with a completely blank page. You can just click into a tile. If you do have a checking account for Laura, you can click into that tile and start filling in the blanks. If a tile doesn't apply to you, you can just remove it and get it out of your way. Let me flip back to my ongoing account here. And let's say I wanted to add a new tile in here. I've got a new car and I want to capture it in my property section. In order to add a new tile, you can click your plus button at the top and select what it is that you're adding. If it's a vehicle, you can click into the vehicle template and it's going to take you through a flow where it's going to ask you the pertinent questions that we need about this vehicle. If there is ever a point where you don't know what to fill in or you don't have the data, you can just click skip, or sometimes it'll say remind me later. In this case, I know who my owners are. I know things like the make. This is a... In some sections of this flow, it'll ask you to link things up that might exist in other categories. So for example, it's asking me if I have a loan or a lease. This would be something that exists inside my finance category. And it's showing me the stuff that's already in my finance category. If one of these applies, I can link it up just by clicking on it. Or I can create a new loan on the fly, and it'll generate a loan, link it up to this vehicle, and put that loan inside the finance category. I'm just going to ask it to remind me about this later. Same goes with insurance. Let's say remind me later. If you have files that you can upload here, things like a image of your registration, it can also create reminders on the fly as you're going through and filling in things that have expiry dates. Okay, and when you're done, it'll create that tile for you. You can review it. You'll see it inside this tile. And when you go back to your property category, you'll see that new tile there. Okay, now keep in mind that you can also do all of these things on mobile by going into your browse, going to the category in question, in this case property, and up in the very top right, you'll see a plus icon that will allow you to add a new tile, and you'll see the same sort of templates that you saw on the web app. You can follow through the flow to add that car into Trustworthy through the iOS app.